Hello, welcome to the episode of Motoring Middle East. Today I'm checking out this incredibly dirty Range Rover. And what I'm not reviewing is the dirt because it rained yesterday. I'm sorry, I just couldn't be bothered to clean it. It is the Range Rover with SVO design pack, which is basically a very fancy trim kit. It includes this front bumper, the side skirts and the rear bumper, and 22-inch wheels, which actually look really, really good. It is basically an appearance package on top of any Range Rover that you can get, a V6, a V8, an HSE, a Vogue. So it's just a very, very nice appearance trim. And it's also an excuse for me to drive a Range Rover because I haven't driven a Range Rover in a really long time and I just wanted to. So there's that. I mean, there's really no point telling you about a Range Rover because you already know what it is. And this one, of course, is a V6, which I haven't driven before. It's a 3-litre supercharged with a 380 horsepower engine. As you'll see in my comments coming up, it may not be the best possible choice for this car, but it's fine for most people. I really like the look of this body kit, and especially love these integrated tailpipes down here. Very shiny and chrome, quite nice to look at. The wheels are, of course, 22 inches, wrapped in non-performance all-terrain rubber, but for the kind of people who drive a Range Rover, this is going to be a road rover. That bit of sand over there is the most that most people ever do, and Range Rover is just fine for that. I really wish I had actually cleaned it now. Look how filthy it is. It's also got a few other packs on the inside. There's an all-terrain progress control, which is basically all off-road cruise control, and a few other bits and bobs and some nice interior. Well, it's much nicer being inside a Range Rover. Look how hushed and quiet it is on the inside. So other things about this car which I actually haven't seen before, but not very new, but new to me, is that it's all touchscreen. Check this out. Same as the Range Rover Velar, double stack touchscreens. To be honest with you, this is probably the weak point of the car because In Control is not a great system. It is a little bit laggy to respond to your inputs. It just feels like the process is a little bit too slow. I mean, its design is lovely. I really like the way it looks and it all responds in the way that makes sense. Music off so we don't have to pay YouTube. But I'll tell you something, it is just a little bit too slow. It's not devastatingly slow, and let me remind you, it's still a Range Rover, so I still love it. Same up here as well. They've basically done the same thing everybody else is doing with the Audis, the Volkswagens. They've all gone for this virtual cockpit. But Land Rover's version feels like they've bolted it on, not like it's been part of the car from the start. And speaking of things that I'm not crazy about, I like buttons, I like sliders, I like knobs. This one is just not my favorite system. I mean, you can basically control your climate control, so obviously direction of airflow, air conditioning performance and all of that, and AC seats. But it doesn't really make me understand why this was necessary. You can also do auto terrain response from here, but I also have the classic knobs down here which do the same things. It's all very slick and very cool, but I'm not sure Range Rover or Land Rover is really leading the way here. This is stuff that feels a bit like copycat, and like everybody else is doing it, because I love the knob. It's lovely, clicky. These buttons, of course, control the height control. So if you look at it, hill descent has now been switched on. It's actually lifting the car slightly. There we go, like that. That's where Land Rover should be. They shouldn't be copying the Germans. But anyway. Oh, and of course, because it's piano black, it picks up scratches constantly, and it always looks dusty. That's the other thing about screens. It's also a little bit distracting. Yeah, it is a little bit distracting. I think at the end of the day, I just want to be able to focus on the road, but with all these screens, like a smartphone screen, it's drawing my attention, and it shouldn't be doing that. I'm not saying it's unsafe. I'm just saying that there's a reason we had buttons and switches. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Maybe I don't know anything. I will say that I prefer the old system, but we're not going to go back now. People who spend this kind of money on cars expect screens. So there's that. But anyway, what's it like to drive? Spoiler alert, it's a Range Rover, but it's pretty good. Okay, so we're about to take the Range Rover for a quick little spin. I don't know why I'm bothering. It's a Range Rover. You know exactly what it's like. But okay, let's go through with it. This isn't really a bit of a test because the SVO design pack is just a trim, so it actually makes it worse off-road because there's lots of low-hanging stuff to get damaged. So I'm going to keep it in off-road height, which is what it's in now. And I'm going to put it in sand mode, which actually adjusts the shift transmission points, etc. and tweaks the traction control to see how it does. This is more of a test of the V6, which I've not been crazy about on-road. The fuel economy is kind of worth it, but at the same time, performance isn't superb. It's just a little sluggish off the line. On the highway, it's fine. And fuel economy is really good. It's 11, 12 litres per 100. That is indicated 140 kilometers per hour. That's pretty damn good. But I still miss the V8 or the supercharged V8. You want the supercharged V8, my friend. But say you're feeling frugal. Does the V6 cut it off-road on 22-inch wheels? And Land Rover specifically said, do not take it off-road, we are not insured. Well, I don't care. It's pretty good. Look how good the ride is. What's amazing about Land Rovers is that the ride's so incredible. Considering we're going over bumps, you can do this in my truck. It'll be clunk, 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 clunk. But look at this. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. It's a nice 2000 RPM V6, does the job. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the V6 is the way to go. Yeah, get a Range Rover. If you've never driven one before, I can't really explain how good it is because it just is. This feels so incredibly comfortable, imperial. You don't worry about stuff. I'm going to put it back in normal height now, so improve the aerodynamics. Yeah, Range Rovers are in a class of their own. Yeah, I know what people are going to say about reliability and all of that, to which I say, well, why aren't you rich if you can't afford to maintain one of these things? You just should be. But it is just such a lovely car to drive. Unlike a Land Cruiser, for example, great car, but a little bit, I'm going to hit the height up again because it's a little bit. I don't want to damage this car before it goes back in 5 minutes. You see, in auto mode, it uses the traction control a little bit more delicately, it doesn't let the wheels spin. But it figures out what surface is on pretty quickly. Yeah, the steering is pretty good, the handling is decent. I mean, it is very floaty, look at this. Floaty. But that's it, performance I like. Supercharged V6. Okay, it's not that slow. It's just not as effortlessly torquey as the V8. So yeah, if you're looking for a car that kind of just does the schlep, this is not a bad Range Rover. I'm not so sure you should get the SVO design pack. It's a good looking car. But again, if you never go off-road, does it matter? Might as well. It looks pretty good. 22-inch wheels, ride really no penalty. It's pretty comfortable. Pretty damn comfortable. I mean, at speed, this car is just so elegant. Short of a Rolls Royce. Best ride you can get, man. Look how relaxed I am. I don't even want to keep talking to you. There's nothing that's as nice as a Range Rover, honestly. And you all need to experience it at least once in your lives. Off-road as well, it does the job. Range Rover Sport would be slightly better. And actually, no, the Range Rover is very, very good off-road. I saw a guy do it in the fun drive. And you know what? Even in my highly modified truck, I couldn't keep up with him. He was just so incredibly composed off-road. I don't know what else to say. In a fully modified car, 100,000 dirhams plus invested in it, couldn't keep up with the bone stock Range Rover. Tells you everything. So yeah, it's good. This one's a little too expensive. 775,000 dirhams. I'm not crazy about that. You know what? That's probably optioned wrong, in my opinion. But it's a marketing car. So I would get the V8. I'd probably would get like a HSE. That'd be enough. This car's also missing a lot of things that I consider must options, like radar cruise control, massage seats, and the high-end Meridian sound system. But other than that, it's got the panel roof. So that is that. Other than that, it's still a Range Rover and I still love it. And everybody who gets into it doesn't say, oh, you've got a cheap Range Rover. They go, you got a Range Rover, I hate you. And on that incredibly envious note, I'm going to end this. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe. Until the next time, where sadly I won't be in a Range Rover. Au revoir.